Hey, this is Sanjeeva from Ames, Iowa.
Hey,
I was
Sanjeeva, what's
just
going
going to
on?
tell about some developments from the British election. There's been like a Theresa May and the Tories have had their own October surprise. Apparently, 30 MPs
Yep,
are being investigated by the English
you got
version
that.
of the FBI for election fraud for overspending in the last general election.
Yep,
So that's apparently the real reason why she called it.
right, right. Yep. I've actually we have some sound that we'll play with after you get off the line, but that's right, and it's also about. I think there's also an investigation into MP expenses, which has been a problem in
Also, the polls.
the UK for a long time.
Oh,
There's been sort of going back. There's been several cycles of those expense issues. So I appreciate the call, Sanjeeva. We'll actually play this sound right now.
okay.
So this is Dennis Skinner, who is a veteran Labor MP. I don't know if we have the old piece of sound. It might be fun to just revisit that if we have it. He's a veteran brawler. I honestly, if Labor's not going to win and we're going to have like just an old lefty British guy, why can't I would prefer him to Jeremy Corbyn, I guess is what I'm saying. And here he is saying basically to Theresa May just what Sanjeeva was saying, which is that you're not calling this election to have a better negotiating position for Brexit or even because the polls look like you'll crush us. You're calling it because you have at least 30 guys that are under criminal investigation because of electoral fraud and spending. Here is Dennis Skinner.
That point of order, Mr. Dennis Skinner.
When I raised this matter with the Prime Minister a week as yesterday, as a matter for you, really, since I didn't get an answer from the Prime Minister, I was then fortunate enough to be called by you to the Justice Secretary of State to raise the matter again. And once more, I didn't receive a reply from the government. Yep. What has emerged now is that you in the chair are saying it's not a matter for me. The Prime Minister says, doesn't respond to my accusation that the election should not have been called, and she didn't get a revelation on the Welsh Hills. She called a snap election in order to try and beat the Crown Prosecution Service. That's what this election is all about.
So that's what Dennis Skinner is saying, that basically there is a high-level investigation right now by the UK equivalent of the FBI into campaign spending, and that's why we're having an election, not all of these other reasons. Now,
Will the Prime Minister,
just to give you a sense, yep.
Here he is actually confronting Theresa May about it, if you want to watch
And here
this
he
one.
is confronting Theresa May directly.
give a guarantee that no Tory MP who is under investigation by the police and the legal authorities over election expenses in the last general election be a candidate in this election, because if she won't accept that, this is the most squalid election campaign that has happened in my lifetime.
That's great. And then do we have the classic moment to revisit? All right, I can help set you up. Waz, first, before we get into anything else, are you ready to give old white men another chance after watching Dennis Skinner?
I mean, do I have another choice?
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's got me. He's pretty riled up.
Yeah,
man.
he's riled up.
He's earned my vote for sure.
All right, so here he is in classic form. This happened several years ago when I believe it was 2007 or 2008. Gordon Brown is still, looks like he's still prime minister. He is attacking George Osborne, who used to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer under David Cameron. And if you recall, there was I don't know if you remember this, Waz, but last summer, I think it was, there was a gossipy book that came out about David Cameron where it was like the guy did, he did coke in college, which is like Of
Okay.
course, what
Yeah.
Thatcher
Water is
did.
wet.
But, well, yeah, okay. Coke is so what? Water is wet. But
Cameron made a lot of money in the London club scene.
Cameron made a lot of money in the London club scene, so it gets a little more interesting. And I don't think water is wet, the idea of as a club initiation ritual, having intercourse with a pig's corpse head. That's a little more
Little
weird.
bit water is
and
dry.
that was in the book.
In Britain, no.
That was in the book.
In
All right.
Britain, that's not weird. It's normal.
Okay, that's very open-minded of you. I'm still going to count that one as weird, but maybe all British people are just weird, which is totally plausible. I did think it was funny that Jeremy Corbyn was a vegetarian because he thought pigs were cute, and Cameron was like, "Oh yeah, I stuck myself in a pig's head." But the rumor of George Osborne and David Cameron being cokeheads has been around for a long time, and our same favorite MP laid this out in classic form several years ago in the House of Commons, and he got kicked out over this. It's like getting ejected from a game. Check it out.
Is my honourable friend aware that in the 70s and in a lot of the 80s, we would have thanked our lucky stars in the coalfield areas to have got a growth of 1.75%. The only thing that was growing then were the lines of coke in front of Boy George and the rest of the
Order. This seems to be a trend with the Honourable Gentleman. He must withdraw that remark.
That was in the news.
Order. He must withdraw that remark.
No, I'm not withdrawing it.
Well, the Honourable Gentleman
It's true.
The Honourable Gentleman doesn't withdraw that remark. He must leave the chamber. I order the Honourable Gentleman to leave the chamber. Right, what's next? What's next? Pardon?
All right.
I'm forced now to name the Honourable Gentleman. I name Dennis Skinner. He's withdrawing. He's taking my advice.
So he did withdraw. Dennis Skinner is awesome.
Hey, folks. The Majority Report YouTube page is in a bit of a crisis right now because of changes in their algorithms. Our YouTube revenue has been clobbered. We need your help. Just a couple of bucks a month would really help us out and keep this channel going. Head over to our Patreon page to find out more information. It's the URL is right here.